This evening, the Ghana Police Force is investigating the murder of a schoolteacher by her lover amid a domestic dispute. The Ghana Prison Service organizes a spelling bee for the inmates. Mahdia-bound bus was caught hauling far more than just passengers. In the region, U.S. police released videos of an officer fatally shooting a black man, and internationally, evidence of alleged war crimes in Kyiv suburbs mounts. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. In an effort to create a self-sustaining food supply, the Ghana Prison Service harvested several vegetables during the week at Mazaruni Prison Farm. Director of Prisons Nicolon Elliott said the Ghana Prison Service has embarked on a robust agricultural program which provides inmates with the opportunity to become skilled in not only farming but also animal husbandry. Mr. Elliott also noted that the large-scale farming represents the strategic goal to maximize yields from the service's investment in the prison industry. A total of 476 pounds of Bolanje and 231 pounds of boro were harvested, along with other vegetables and fruits. Farming is being done at the New Amsterdam, Mazaruni, Lusignan, and Tumeri prisons. Recent efforts are focused on ensuring that farms are utilized to sufficiently supply the needs of the prison population in the coming years. Mr. Elliott also mentioned that farming was particularly productive in the first quarter of this year. Continuing on our coverage of the Ghana Prison Service, Esther Sobers informs us that the Prison Service held a spelling bee tournament. Inmates from several prisons throughout the country competed in that contest.
Despite making poor decisions that resulted in their incarceration, prisoners were given the option to participate in recreation activities when the Guyana Prison Services hosted a spelling bee competition on Wednesday, April 13, 2022. The match featured prisoners from various prisons across the country, which came to a close at the Lusignan Prison Complex and saw the Georgetown Prison emerging as the competition's winner. Lennox Edswick appeared on stage when faced with spelling the champion word politism in front of a large crowd, largely relatively of participating inmates. The inmate got first place by spelling the word without pausing. After several rounds of back and forth with Edswick, Nizam Ali came in second. Sheikh Harton finished in third place. Edswick had undoubtedly studied. He said after that he was amazed at the victory. Meanwhile, Chief Organizer and Officer in Charge, Prisons, Welfare and Corrections, Mrs. Marlene Bristol Grant, who chaired the program, said the competition is one of the numerous rehabilitation programs being carried out by the Ghana Prison Services. Mrs. Bristol Grant further highlighted that the competition also forms part of the service's overall goal of minimizing recidivism among inmates. Further, according to Director of Prisons Nicolon Elliott, these opportunities are good exposures for the inmates since they are integral in their social reintegration process. Quote, "Our mandate is to use mentorship and education as critical solution to reducing recidivism." 10 inmates were picked from each location at the outset of the competition. 2 top inmates from each side advanced to the finals following an inside match. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Kano intercepted a minibus heading for Region 8 that was carrying far more than just passengers. Dale Jarvis has more details.
Ranks of the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit conducted an intelligence-led operation at Yarracabra Village, Linden, Suicide Highway, and arrested 6 men in a minibus after they were caught with a large quantity of cannabis on Wednesday, April 13th. Reports are that the officers intercepted the Mahdia-bound minibus carrying passengers and food supplies at Yarracabra Village. A subsequent search of the minibus resulted in a discovery of 19 parcels of suspected cannabis concealed in pieces of sponge and the arrest of 6 persons. The driver, 40-year-old Nelvin Isaacs, along with 5 male passengers, was escorted to the Kanu headquarters along with the suspected narcotics. The narcotics tested positive for cannabis and had a total weight of 19.5 kg, with a street value of over 6 million Guyana dollars. All of the suspects are presently in custody pending investigations. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dea. Stick around after the break. Ghana police force investigating the murder of a school teacher by her lover amid a domestic dispute, and biker who killed Sophia teen granted $600,000 bail.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality, men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands, and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Welcome back. The Ghana Police Force is looking into the murder of a school teacher who was stabbed by her lover amid a domestic dispute. More from Esther Sollers.
As the domestic abuse figures continue to climb in the country, a 19-year-old woman is now the latest victim as she was fatally stabbed by her 21-year-old lover, Joel Spooner, in their home at Craig Public Road, East Bank, Darara. The incident occurred between 3:30 p.m. on April 12th and 11:45 p.m. on April 13th. The dead woman has been identified as a school teacher, Shanice Walks. Reports are that the couple had a misunderstanding on Tuesday. The man alleges that Walks armed herself with a knife. He tried to take the knife from her and subsequently stabbed her to the left side neck. He further added that he became afraid, secured the house and left. The following day, Spooner told his brother what transpired. The brother and aunt escorted him to the Grove police station, where he was handed over to the police. When officers arrived on the scene, they discovered the deceased laying on her back alongside a bed with a knife lodged in her left side neck. The woman's body was subsequently escorted to the Memorial Garden Funeral Home, awaiting a post-mortem examination. There are several reports from neighbors that the woman, who had moved in about 3 months ago, had been a victim of physical abuse for some time now. Back in February, Spooner had severely beaten Walks, resulting in her losing a tooth. He was arrested and placed on bail. However, Walks later withdrew that matter. According to neighbors, Spooner would physically abuse Walks whenever they had a disagreement. Spooner is currently in police custody. Investigations are ongoing. Since the beginning of the pandemic, episodes of domestic violence has dominated the news cycle. Just this week, 2 women lost their lives at the hands of their partners, and another young woman was severely beaten by her father. Here is a list of services available if you are being abused or know someone who is. 1. Dial 914. 2. Legal aid services. This can help you get a protection order, occupation order, maintenance, or even a divorce. 3. Shelter. A place to stay for you and your children. 4. Financial help, both cash and small business grant. 5. Police protection. Persons have used these services successfully and have been able to get away and stay alive and have a new beginning. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. The motorcyclist responsible for the death of a 14-year-old child in Sophia appeared in court to answer for his crime. Here again is Esther Sobers.
21-year-old Glenton Redmond of Field, Sophia, East Coast, Narara, appeared at the Sperndam Magistrates Court on Wednesday, April 13th, to answer the charge of causing death by dangerous driving. Redmond appeared before Magistrate Rochelle Liverpool and pleaded not guilty to the charge of causing the death of 14-year-old Makeda Quick on April 10th. Reports are that Redmond was driving a motorcycle CK7840 at Field, Sophia, in a lying position at the time of the incident. The teen was standing at the side of the road with her bicycle waiting on him to pass before she crossed the road. Redmond subsequently lost control of the bike and collided with the child, whose body was catapulted some distance into the air due to the collision before landing in a nearby drain. She was picked up in an unconscious condition and pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital. Redmond was placed on $600,000 bail. The matter was adjourned to June 8, 2022 for statements. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go away after the break. U.S. police released videos of officer fatally shooting a black man and evidence of alleged war crimes in Kyiv suburbs months. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality, men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands, and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables, We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton, and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries, and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
In a world filled with copycats and ever-changing trends, make your property stand out with unique concrete moldings. Different, exquisite designs carefully handcrafted to suit your style, with various customizable and antique and modern designs made at our factory. Antique and Modern Molding Establishment. We make your property outstanding. We make and install all moldings anywhere in Guyana. The best quality, affordable prices, on-the-spot quotes, and no hidden fees. Call us or WhatsApp us at 684-5050 or email us at modernestab@gmail.com. Antique and Modern Molding Establishment, made to stand out.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. For the past 9 months, 155 delegates started up the world's first constitutional convention in Chile. They were meant to rewrite the constitution and address the challenges that faces Chileans today. Al Jazeera's Lucy Newman reports.
9 months ago, the overwhelming majority of Chileans voted to allow 155 delegates to form the world's first constitutional convention with gender parity, and that promised to address modern-day challenges like protecting the environment. Many predicted it would become a global reference. But with less than 3 months left to finish drafting the proposed constitution, things aren't looking quite so good.
It cannot be that they want to expropriate our pension funds or our houses. They do not protect us from anything.
All they care about is changing the national anthem, our emblem, and our flag.
In actual fact, none of these things have been approved by the convention, nor the belief by many that parents won't have a say in their children's education, that indigenous groups will form 12 independent countries, and that farmers won't be able to kill their animals. But it is an extraordinarily complex process in which every delegate has a voice, even to make sometimes absurd proposals that are eventually dismissed. And it's become even more confusing thanks to misinformation campaigns that are spreading on social media. A new study reveals that 60% of Chileans have received false information about the convention.
And we detected that 30% of these people shared this false news. It wasn't necessarily on purpose, but if you believe what you read and think it's relevant, you share that information without verifying it.
As a result, 3 new polls suggest that Chileans' support has plummeted for a new constitution that 80% had hoped would lay the groundwork for a more equal and just society. This even before the convention has finished drafting the majority of articles.
The idea here is to distribute power more evenly. We always knew that those who hold power don't want to lose it, and the mainstream media, which is owned by major economic groups, isn't neutral when it comes to covering the convention.
Chile's mainstream media is mostly conservative, but it's in fact the social media that has the most impact. According to European Union experts, false information or disinformation spreads 6 times faster than real news, oftentimes because of misleading headlines that have nothing to do with the body of the story. Rectifying or neutralizing misinformation is far more difficult, and is turning out to be a major challenge for what may be the first constitution written under the influence of this new technological age. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Santiago.
Internationally, police in the U.S. state of Michigan has released video footage of an officer fatally shooting a 26-year-old black man in the head in an incident that has spurred renewed calls for actions to stop deadly police violence against black people in the United States. Al Jazeera's John Hendren reports.
Once again in the U.S., a white police officer fatally shoots another unarmed black man.
This is a very regrettable, very sad day in our community, and we have heard several expressions of a range of emotions, and we will get through this.
Grand Rapids Police has released the controversial video of the confrontation on Wednesday. A police dashboard camera captured an unarmed officer pulling over Patrick Lioya, a 26-year-old immigrant from the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Hey, stay in the car! Stay in the car!
Lioya seems to ignore that order. The officer's body camera picks up the struggle.
The plate doesn't belong in this car.
As the officer tries to arrest him, he runs. Then a scuffle. The officer climbs on Lioya's back, struggling to handcuff him.
Stop resisting! Let go of the taser!
Then the officer's camera is turned off, either deliberately or because the off button was pressed during the struggle. A home security camera and Lioya's passenger videotape the rest. The taser goes off. Twice. Missing Lioya and hitting the ground. Then the shot. It's unclear why at that point the officer fired. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump says the video shows it was an unnecessary, excessive, and fatal use of force against an unarmed black man who was confused and terrified for his life. Local police have turned over the investigation to Michigan State Police. The Grand Rapids police chief has left open the possibility that the struggle over the taser had the officer in fear for his life.
They were struggling over the taser from my view of the video. So this is not a conclusion because I don't know what other information is out there, but it looks like that they were struggling over the taser for about 90 seconds.
Police killings of black Americans in recent years, particularly the videotaped death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, launched the Black Lives Matter movement in protests across the U.S. Whatever conclusion the investigation finds in this case, Lioya's family and civil rights activists are left to mourn yet another police killing of an unarmed black American. John Hendren, Al Jazeera.
And finally, several mass graves have been discovered since Ukrainian authorities regained control of swathes of the Kyiv region that had been under Russian occupation. Al Jazeera's Rasul Sardar reports.
A gruesome scene that is becoming increasingly common in Ukraine.
These bodies of civilians allegedly killed by Russian troops have just been discovered. Russian forces camped near this chicken factory in Hostomel shortly after the war began. They forced local men working nearby to help carry their ammunition. Among them was Dimitro. Investigators found his body in a shallow grave. Asked to carry boxes of grenades and RPGs, he refused. Sasha was there.
He refused because he said he has bad back. They threatened to shoot him, but he refused again. He got on his knees with his head on the blocks. The commander said shoot him, and the soldier loaded his rifle and shot him many times. Then they asked me, do you want the same?
Like all bodies here, they must first be checked for booby traps. While Dimitro's body is packed into a plastic bag, the work to collect evidence of possible war crimes is underway. The strategic town of Hostomel hosts the closest airport outside the capital Kyiv. An ideal location for Russian airborne units to gain a foothold in the region, it was a primary target for Russian forces. They soon took control of the airport and then funneled into the streets and through the town, holding it for a month. The scale of destruction, loss of life, and alleged atrocities only became apparent after Russian forces left the area. This town is a crime scene. Prosecutors told us every day they unearthed a dozen bodies here, but more than 400 people are still missing, and those who survive say they can't forget what they have seen here. Oksana feared she was about to lose her husband and son when Russian forces stormed into her home and threatened to kill them.
They were shooting from helicopters right at us. A tank shelled my neighbour's house. Russians were storming in our houses, threatened to kill my husband and son. Luckily, they survived.
Oksana's husband Victor was ready to give his life to save his family.
They put my face against the wall and loaded the gun. I told them, take me and leave my son.
Victor survived this ordeal, but his neighbor was not so lucky. He was shot when he went out to find a place to charge his phone. As the streets were dangerous, Victor buried his neighbor in his backyard. A neighbor, a friend, laid to rest in an improper place, but in peace. As they look to the future, those left behind search for some too. Resul Serdar, Al Jazeera, Hostomel.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. That is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. We'll be off on Friday and Monday, and we'll return on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other, and do have a happy Easter weekend.